What's up, you guys? So, what you're about to hear is a mess. Shirley Strawberry finally addressed everything that's been going on with her and what she calls her estranged husband over the past year. She addressed it in the Strawberry Letter segment of the Steve Harvey Morning Show today, which I was able to capture from the radio. So that's what you're going to hear in this video. You're going to hear Shirley Strawberry addressing everything. So she starts off, it's in like 6 parts. So in part 1, she starts off from the very beginning, putting distance between her and her ex-husband, well, soon to be ex-husband Ernesto. And she says that he is her estranged husband. And then she also gets into apologizing for what she said about Steve Harvey being winded, going up his own stairs, and being scared of his own wife. So we're going to get into that part first. And then as the call progresses, you'll hear her speak more on the situation with Ernesto. And then you'll hear Steve Harvey address her comments and how it affected him and Marjorie, considering everything that they're going through.
All right, Steve, I'm going to just start by saying that my estranged husband is in jail. He's been in jail for over a year, since about right after the 4th of July of 2022. And recently, some phone calls from last year between he and I were leaked. And on those calls, you hear me saying you were winded going up the stairs at your home. And Marjorie looks at us as the help. And right here and now, I want to apologize to you and Marjorie for what I said. As much as I wish I could, I can't take it back. I can't. I said it, and I want to apologize. It was definitely not me trying to add to what you and Marjorie already have going on in your lives right now. But the fact that these tapes were released, it does seem like everyone is coming for you, I should say, at this time, including me. But in reality, the tapes have nothing to do with what you and Marjorie have going on. It was just me running my mouth in a private conversation, or what I thought was a private conversation. And again, I apologize. I feel terrible. I make no excuses. I said what I said, and there's no denying it. There's no taking it back. Back then, when the phone calls happened, I was trying to stand by my man, be supportive wife. I've been married to this man for 8 years. I had no idea that all this was going on with him. I had no idea. And the charges that he's facing are horrific. They are really bad. I for sure did not want your name mentioned in any kind of way associated with my mess. So I had to call you. I had to tell you it was a hard call for me to make. But I called you. And I want to clear something up, Steve. You did not introduce me to him. I met him through a friend. I should say an ex-friend now. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. I had to tell you, he was in jail. It was going to come out. I didn't want you to hear it from anyone else. I wanted you to hear it from me, because I knew once the police and everyone, got involved, and they were already involved, and they found out who his wife was and who she worked with and all of that, and that's you, Steve Harvey, it will become, a real big story, because it's your name. And like I told you, Steve, when I called you, I didn't want to call you. I mean, I was embarrassed. I was hurt. I felt so stupid, and, I felt betrayed, humiliated. It was just terrible. I mean, I kept saying to myself, how is this my life? Police and jail and all of this. It was just something that I didn't, I'd never experienced anything like this. The police came, they took my car. I was at the salon getting my hair done. They rolled up, took my car. I had to have my stylist take me home. I had to move in with friends. I lost my house. I lost everything. Oh, and I have to tell you this too. Like on the day, July 4th, we were having dinner with friends, and we were going to watch the fireworks after that. And so the fireworks didn't happen that night because it was like a terrible, terrible storm. So the fireworks got canceled. And when I look back, I see now that that was kind of a metaphor for what was about to happen in my life. The thunderstorms were coming, they were coming. The next day was the last time I saw him. He was arrested the very, very next day. I didn't even know he was arrested. I couldn't get in touch with him later that day. Well, I'll tell you the rest later, how I got the phone call from jail and all of that.
All right, you guys, so that was the first part. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about her apology and her saying throughout this whole thing, she keeps saying she's humiliated and embarrassed. I feel like the word she should be using is shame. If you know the charges against him and how her daughter is involved and things like that, she should be ashamed, but you never hear her say she's ashamed. In part 2, she does say that divorce proceedings are underway, and she continues to go on about how embarrassed she is. And Steve talks about how the devil is busy and how the devil sends the people he has to attack people. And Steve goes on to say that obviously Shirley knew the call was being recorded because the automated system tells you it's being recorded before the phone call even starts.
C is a very, very real letter. I'm not going to interrupt it at this point. Shirley was going over some of the key points about how she discovered the actions of her husband, the date that she discovered it. She's apologized for the things that were said about myself and Marjorie in the letter. I'm not responding right now. I'm allowing her to tell her story. I think it's important that a person tells their side of it because, like I said earlier, this is no longer hearsay. This is not gossip or rumor. This is real life. So, Shirley, you can continue.
All right. So I was telling you how I found out that he was in jail. I got a call from the jail, and, I didn't answer it because I'm like, who would be calling me from jail? I looked at my phone like, jail? Where'd this call? It just didn't compute. So I just ignored it. But he got word to me through one of his friends. They texted me that he was at Fulton County Jail. So the next time he called, I picked up, and that was him that had called earlier from jail. And, he told me what happened. I thought he would be getting out in a couple of days because that's what he told me. But of course, here we are a year later, those days turned into weeks, the weeks turned into months. And like I said, this is just on and on. Every day is just something. And my life has just been a nightmare ever since. And it's still going on, Steve. I mean, I had no idea that those tapes would be released to the world. I knew that they were being recorded, but I didn't know that they were going to go out to the world. I mean, I was just trying to make conversation with him, trying to, just get him to think about something other than where he was. I was telling him about my day, this particular day, and that was the day we were talking about, on the phone when I said those things about you and the things that you heard and the world heard. And cut to today, I haven't spoken to him in quite some time. Divorce proceedings are underway. And Steve, at this point, all I could say is what I have is my faith. If it wasn't for God, I probably would have, lost my mind or something in this instance. People don't see what happens when these mics go off. Who wants their personal stuff, their private conversations to go out to public? No one wants that. I mean, what could I say to you after this, happened? I was devastated. I mean, absolutely devastated. I mean, I thought of everything, I could lose my job. How could I face you? Everything, what I'm going through is what I'm going through, and I've been going through it for over a year. I just haven't spoken about it. Then on top of all that, these tapes come out and, I'm talking about you and Marjorie, and you guys are going through your own private hell right now. You didn't need me to contribute to anything, and I thought back, because I knew I had to say something, speak on. You created this term years ago in Los Angeles called reality radio, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is about as real as it gets,
Shirley.
And the reason I'm here before you now, I wanted to say it live on the radio, is because your name is in it. You know, we've been friends for a long time, Steve, and these jail calls were made public, and I wanted to give you and Marjorie a public apology and to ask for your forgiveness publicly. I just wanted to have a real moment with you. And, you know, I have to tell you, I've been coming to work every day because, you know, it's my only safe haven right now. It gave me a place where I could still be myself and forget my troubles for a little while, you know, and just, you know, do my job. You know, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you, of course, Steve, Tommy, Junior, and of course my girl Carla, you know, for the space and the grace that you guys have shown me. You know, this is a very difficult time in my life, is if you can imagine. You know, I love you guys. We're family, and I thank you. And I just want to thank everyone. I'm just trying to live. I'm sorry for what you and your wife are going through right now in your life. And I hate your names were dragged into my drama because you certainly don't deserve it. That's it.
Well, Shirley, let me say this. First of all, what's happening to me and Marjorie, I'm going to address that. But let me say this, though. The devil is busy. The devil is busy. And the devil don't come for those he got. He sends those that he has. So now, with all that's going on around us right now, what I do understand, though, see, this jailhouse conversation you had was last year in October 2022. But the devil know how to pile on at the right time. So this tape that was made in October 2022 gets released right on the heels of all of this to just pile on some more. And I guess you say, you know, it was recorded because, you know, when everybody get that phone call, who ain't had that phone call? Fulton County, we please know yourself phone call. This phone call is being recorded. We come back, we'll address some more. But this strawberry letter look like it's about to be the 9 o'clock hour. So we'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
All right, so in this next section of the conversation, Steve tells her that he knew about it. The whole team there knew about it right after it happened, but they actually didn't speak to Shirley about it. The only person Shirley was speaking to about it was her friend Mississippi Monica, and they say that Mississippi Monica was keeping them up to date about everything that was going on. And then again, in this segment, you hear Shirley go on about being embarrassed and humiliated and feeling dumb. But again, you don't hear her say that she's ashamed. Of course, you don't hear an apology, but you don't hear her say that she's ashamed or anything about her daughter.
All right, y'all, we're back, and the strawberry letter has been extended because I think there's a lot that need to be said. Just to give you a brief recap, we opened up the floor for Shirley to tell her story, whatever she wanted to do. We didn't rehearse this. We didn't plan this. Shirley came out and apologized for the things that were said about myself and my wife. But I also realize, and I know, the timing of all this is important because this conversation she had with her estranged husband was in October of 2022. The tapes got released right now. So, and then when you can throw my name on anything, because you look at all these stories, my name headlines the stuff. And so Shirley, when it came out, she called right away, apologized and everything. And so I understand that. And Shirley didn't want her mess to become our mess. Let me say this to you, Shirley. We have known about this right after it happened. Right. But we can't get in nobody's marriage and just go, girl, what you doing? What you thinking? What you feeling?
We didn't want to say nothing.
Right. They didn't want to say nothing.
We didn't want to talk about it.
We didn't want to talk about it, and we wanted to create for you a space where you could come to work and have some moments, because I know what it's like.
And you did.
To get beaten and eaten alive. And so it became, for us, let's just be there for her. And when you want to tell us, you will tell us.
Yes.
When you're ready. Now, good thing you had Monica, Mississippi Monica, who has been with you this whole ride. You did confide in her. Mm-hmm. So Monica would keep us posted But until you wanted to invite us in, we were just left over here as a support system. And
Well,
so
can I
we were
say,
just, yes. of
I'm
course.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but can I just say this is I look at you guys as my family, you know, we all are family, you know, a lot of times there was a time when we saw each other more than we saw our actual families. And, you know, it was just so hard for me I'm a private person, you know, but we all have our stuff. We talk afterwards. We're friends. We're all that. It was just hard for me to bring this particular thing up. I was just so embarrassed, you know, and humiliated. And I just felt like a fool. I felt so stupid. And, you know, I couldn't. It's not that I didn't want to talk about it. I just couldn't find the words. And that's the honest to God's truth. I just couldn't come to you guys. You know, if you had come to me, I would have opened up. But, you know, I understand, but I couldn't. It was too much. It was just too much for me at that time, you know?
Okay. Shirley, we get it. Hang on. This strawberry letter's been extended. This is important, y'all. We'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this.
So in this next segment, Steve, even though for a lot of us, the bigger issue is what's going on with Ernesto and the charges against him, for Steve, it's more about him and Marjorie. So in this next segment and the last two segments, you hear him speak about how this affected him and Marjorie, how they normally don't address the blogs, but because of timing, because it was Shirley Strawberry, somebody that's in his inner circle, you know, because her phone calls were released and she was talking about him and Marjorie in a negative way, saying that he's scared of Marjorie. The timing made it something that he wanted to address. So you'll hear him address that in the next three segments.
To get brought up to speed, we're on the iHeart app. You can play it all day long. You can hear this whole interview. Shirley opened up with the apology to me and my wife. And I wanted to make you all aware of the timing of it. You know, my wife and me, we've been getting beat up for the past 2 weeks. But when something like this happens, you know, our motto has always been to never address bloggers.
Right.
And we don't give it no room or steam.
No life.
No, nothing, because we know who we are and we know whose we are. And so we don't address bloggers. When this came out, it's a little bit different because it's not gossip, rumor, or malicious lie. It came from the inside circle. Because we are inside circle. We are family. And so when it came out, you know, Marjorie is on baby watch right now. We got another grandchild coming, and the baby's due any minute, so Marjorie's over there on baby watch. She's just doing grandmama duties. And Marjorie don't really get into all this right here. And so I didn't really... you know, look, I'm so used to getting beat up, but I didn't know how Marjorie was feeling about everything that's out there. Mm-hmm. Because these bottom feeders are just beating my wife up. And even though we've made a conscious effort and we said we're not going to address it, I'm tired of it. And so when this came out, this is how the devil works. I'm going to pile it on. I'm going to go get somebody that worked for me. Because one more time, God don't come. The devil don't come for those he got. He sends the ones he has. So now I'm going to get me a government employee that needs some money, that work at Fulton County. I'm going to get a hold of him. I'm going to release these tapes. I'm going to get him to need a little bit of money. I'm going to give it to this female blogger, and she going to get a little bit of money, and now I'm going to soak them. But the timing of it was ugly because of everything else that's going on right now. And it made it look like Shirley was piling on. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't her intent, but it happened. Like I say, I understand. The part I'm coming with now is because it's been so ugly for my wife, man. And see, this is what I've never done before. It's been so ugly for my wife. And I've stood there trying not to say nothing. But I'm not a blog. We, me, Shirley, Carla, Tommy, Mississippi Jr., we ain't a blog. We're a real media platform. And I don't know if you all know what it's like to wake up every morning that we get up, and our job and mission is to brighten your day. And it don't matter how dark our day is. We got the job to be the morning show. And we got to put on the show. And Tommy come in here with Junior come in here off a crisis with sickle cell. Tommy come in here with bad news. Tommy get hit with cancer. Shirley going through her life right here. Carla got a whole family over here. Everybody got crosses to bear. But we got to come in here anyway, and we got to be the morning show. In spite of what's happening in our life, when it ain't funny or fun or inspirational or motivational or informative at all, we just in here trying to make it. So I get it. So what I'm about to do now is clear up a few things.
All right, so in this next segment, this is the next to the last segment, Steve Harvey reveals that Marjorie has been in pain for the past 17 years. Like being married to him, there is a painful part of being married to him. And I think he's referring to the gossip when he says that. And then he goes on to say how Black bloggers are the nastiest to him and Marjorie, even though he feels like part of his job is to uplift Black people. It seems to bother him that Black people are the ones that seem to put him down the most when he's just trying to uplift Black people.
All right, y'all, we back. And this morning we've been dealing with everything. So I hope you've been up because I'm not going to recap because it takes too much time. My wife and I talked about this. And I prayed about this. And Marjorie told me, Steve, drop it, let it go. But I see my wife's face. And I see the pain she's been in. And she ain't just been in this pain for 2 weeks. She been in this pain for 17 years with me. And so now what I want to do right now, I want to tell you something about my wife. Because we sitting up in here and we dealing with stuff and that y'all just printing lies and rumors and the viciousness of it is what I'm finna talk about. Now, let me tell you something. Normally, we don't care nothing about your blogs and all this here. But I'm really tired of y'all, man. And you know the sad thing behind all of this? The majority of these blogs, they Black people. The very people that we try to uphold and uplift the most. What all of our foundation is about saving and changing the lives of young Black people. And then it's the Black bloggers that's the nastiest when it comes to all of us. And that's the part I want to get at, and then I'm gonna let it go. Because after today, ain't no more. After today, there will be no more. So when we come back, we'll be more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm so sick of this strawberry letter. We'll be right back.
All right, so in this final segment, again, it's Steve talking about how this all affected him and Marjorie. And he says that when he met Marjorie, he was broke. He was broke and in debt. And that's a combination right there, being broke and in debt. And he explains how that all happened. And he says that Marjorie helped build him, like helped him rebuild himself. And so basically, he's addressing the claims that Marjorie's a gold digger, that she jumps from man to man. He's saying that no, she actually helped him build himself up.
The woman I married is a good woman. She the best thing ever happened to me. She's God-fearing. She's loyal. She's faithful. And she's a kind and loving person. I don't care what nobody says. And y'all quit talking about she was in my other marriage and ruined it. She didn't. She was nowhere around that. My marriage, I got divorced in 2005. My marriage was over when the Kings of Comedy was out. Y'all ain't know that though, did you? It was over then. It took us this long to get to the divorce. That's when the official paperwork came out. But in 2005, let me hip you to something. I had nothing. I lost the radio show we were on in LA on March 23rd, and I lost the only TV show I had May 10th. Steve Harvey had no money. Got with Marjorie again New Year's Eve, met her, talked to her. She was with her kids in Hawaii. We got together in 2006. We had nothing. She didn't marry into no lap of riches. I had nothing. When I asked her to marry me at the end of 2006, and then she said she wanted to get married in 2007, I told her too soon. I got to get some stuff together. She said, what? I said, baby, I ain't really got nothing. I'm trying to build. She said, I'm going to get in there and build with you. We got married in 2007. Do you know what I was doing in 2007? Nothing. We had 4 stations in 2005. 4. We built this. All of us built this. We had 4 stations. We turned this into something. But that woman got down in that foxhole with me and turned this into something. In 2007, we got married. In 2008, we found out that somebody had stolen 7 years of my tax returns. I ain't gonna mention no names. And we owed the government $22 million and we in debt. But then guess what? She stayed with me in that. Then guess what? In 2009, I got Family Feud. In 2009, the book came out. In 2012, the talk show came out. I'm telling you, this woman got in the hole and built this with me. She didn't steal nothing. And I'm tired of y'all talking about my girl. Because my girl is one of the best women I've ever met. And why you black ass people out there got these blogs like you just gonna destroy somebody, I don't really know what that's about. But don't worry about it because it ain't working. Because all we are now, we are a tighter two-handed circle. Thank you for doing that. And you're not going to split us up. And we're not going nowhere. And she is none of what you said she is. And she the best chick I know. Now, I'm defending her. And you can feel how you want to feel about that. That's the God in me. But now, let me give you one piece of Steve Harvey. If I see your ass.
We'll be back with more of the Steve Harvey Morning Show right after this. You're listening to...
All right, you guys, so that was the Strawberry Letter for today. That is Shirley Strawberry addressing, for the most part, everything that is going on in her life, in her marriage with Ernesto. I kind of wish she had apologized to her daughter. Like the whole time I'm waiting for her to take personal accountability, other than saying, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I'm so humiliated, I feel dumb. Other than that, like I'm waiting for her to elevate it and say, you know, I'm sorry to the people in her family that she didn't listen to. If you listen to the phone calls, the recordings, you know that she chose her man over her daughter. She chose her man over her daughter, and she was on Ernesto's side instead of her own daughter's side. So in my mind, I'm waiting for her to address that, even if it's just, you know, a statement like, you know, I apologize to my daughter, my family members, to the people who I didn't listen to, just some type of accountability. And I didn't hear it. I heard embarrassment, but I didn't hear accountability. But leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about what you heard. As always, thanks for watching.